Ever wondered why it's so hard to put down your phone or stop binge watching your favorite show? Could dopamine be the culprit? Welcome to the captivating world of neuroscience, where we unravel the mysteries of the human brain and its chemicals. One such chemical that's been grabbing headlines lately is dopamine. You've probably heard of it, but what exactly is it? Dopamine is a type of neurotransmitter, a chemical messenger responsible for transmitting signals in the brain and other vital areas. It's often referred to as the feel-good hormone, playing a major role in how we feel pleasure. Now, imagine a world where everything you desire is at your fingertips. From the comfort of your couch, you can order food, binge watch shows, scroll through social media, and even work. Sounds convenient, right? Well, here's the catch. Each of these activities releases dopamine, causing a burst of pleasure. But what happens when this becomes a routine? These modern conveniences, while making our lives easier, can lead to a state of dopamine overload. This is where the brain gets so used to the constant high levels of dopamine that it starts to need more and more of it to feel the same level of pleasure. This can lead to addictive behaviors, lack of motivation, and even mental health issues. It's like being on a never-ending dopamine-driven merry-go-round. So it begs the question, is there a way to break this cycle? Can we regain control over our dopamine levels and not let it control us? This brings us to a fascinating concept, something that's been gaining traction in the world of neuroscience and psychology. Dopamine detox. A dopamine detox, in essence, is a period of abstinence from activities that cause excessive dopamine release. It's about resetting our brain's reward system to appreciate the simple things in life and break free from the hold of instant gratification. So, what if there's a way to reset your dopamine levels for a healthier, more balanced life? Enter dopamine detox. Dopamine detox, also known as dopamine fasting, is a popular trend. But what really is it? This question often lingers in the minds of many. Let's delve into it. Dopamine detox is a principle that's not about completely eliminating dopamine from your system. Quite the contrary. It's about resetting your brain's reward system. Dopamine, as some of you may know, is a type of neurotransmitter that our bodies naturally produce. It's often referred to as the feel-good hormone. It's released when you eat your favorite food, achieve a goal, or even when you get a like on your recent social media post. It's what makes these experiences enjoyable and motivates us to repeat them. However, with the constant bombardment of instant gratification from our modern lifestyles, our brains can get overloaded with too much dopamine. This can lead to a decreased sensitivity to it, which in turn requires more and more stimulation to reach the same level of pleasure or satisfaction. This is where the principle of dopamine detox comes into play. The aim of a dopamine detox is to reset our brain's reward system by intentionally reducing the amount of dopamine-triggering activities in our daily lives. This doesn't mean you have to live like a monk or cut yourself off from all forms of pleasure. It's about gaining control over your desires and not letting them control you. The potential benefits of a dopamine detox can be substantial. It can help increase your focus, reduce anxiety, improve your productivity, and even foster deeper personal relationships. By limiting the constant influx of dopamine hits, you allow your brain to recalibrate and become more sensitive to smaller, more meaningful sources of pleasure. Not to mention, it can help you break free from the shackles of instant gratification and instead find satisfaction in the journey and the process. It encourages you to seek long-term fulfillment over short-term pleasure, promoting a more balanced and rewarding lifestyle. Sounds interesting, right? But how do you do a dopamine detox? Stay tuned. Scene script. Ready to reset your brain? Here's how you can do a dopamine detox. Let's break down this process into manageable steps. It's not complicated, but it does require commitment. So buckle up and let's get started. Step 1. Identify dopamine-triggering activities. These are the things that give you an instant feel-good rush. They might be scrolling through social media, binge-watching your favorite shows, eating sugary snacks, or even indulging in retail therapy. Anything that gives you an immediate reward and makes you feel good in the short term, but doesn't necessarily contribute to your long-term happiness or well-being. Make a list of these activities. Awareness is the first step towards change. Moving on to step 2, set a detox period. This is not a one-size-fits-all situation. You need to decide how long you want to commit to this dopamine detox. It could be a day, a week, or even a month. Be realistic and choose a time frame that you feel is achievable for you. Remember, this isn't about punishing yourself, it's about resetting your brain's reward system. Now, step 3. Replace dopamine-triggering activities with low dopamine activities. This doesn't mean you have to sit in a dark room doing nothing. Instead, engage in activities that offer slow, steady rewards. Pick up that book you've been meaning to read, go for a walk in nature, practice mindfulness, or learn a new skill. These activities might not give you an instant high, but they are fulfilling and rewarding in the long run. Finally, step 4. Gradually reintroduce activities. After your detox period, you don't want to dive right back into your old habits. Instead, slowly reintroduce the dopamine-triggering activities, but with moderation and mindfulness. For example, limit your social media use to a certain amount of time each day, or enjoy a sweet treat only occasionally. This way, you can still enjoy these activities without letting them control your dopamine levels. You see, a dopamine detox isn't about completely eliminating enjoyment from your life. It's about creating a balance. It's about retraining your brain to find joy and satisfaction in the small, everyday things instead of constantly seeking the next big rush. It's about learning to be present, to be patient, and to appreciate the journey as much as the destination. So why not give it a try? You might be surprised by how much more fulfilling your life can be when you take control of your brain's reward system. And remember, this isn't a quick fix. It's a lifestyle change that requires commitment and consistency. Remember, the goal is not to eliminate dopamine, but to rebalance your brain's reward system. Let's make the most of our brain's incredible capacity for change and growth. It's never too late to start a dopamine detox. As with anything that gains popularity, dopamine detox has its share of myths and misconceptions. Let's take a moment to debunk some of these. Firstly, one common fallacy is that dopamine detox involves completely abstaining from all forms of pleasure. People often picture this as a monk-like existence, devoid of all joy and entertainment. However, this couldn't be further from the truth. Dopamine detox is not about rejecting pleasure outright, but rather about redefining our relationship with it. It's about learning to appreciate the simple pleasures in life once again, like the warmth of the sun on your skin or the taste of a home-cooked meal, rather than constantly seeking the next big thrill. Another misconception is the belief that dopamine detox can cure addiction. While it's true that dopamine plays a major role in addiction, it's important to understand that addiction is a complex issue, often rooted in a variety of physical, psychological, and social factors. A dopamine detox may aid in managing cravings and resetting our reward system, but it is not a magic bullet that will resolve addiction issues overnight. Professional help and support are often required for a successful journey to recovery. There's also a notion that dopamine detox is just another fad without any scientific basis. This is not entirely accurate. The concept of dopamine detox is based on the principle of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself and adapt to new behaviors. While the term dopamine detox may be relatively new, the underlying principles have been studied and understood by neuroscientists for decades. Lastly, some people believe dopamine detox is a one-size-fits-all solution. But remember, we are all unique with different brains, different habits, and different lives. What works for one person may not work for another. It's important to tailor your dopamine detox to your specific needs and circumstances. Now that we've cleared up some common misconceptions, let's wrap things up. So, what should you remember about dopamine detox? Let's quickly jog through the key points we've unraveled in this video. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter a chemical messenger in the brain that plays a significant role in how we feel pleasure. It's not the villain it's often made out to be. Rather, it's about managing our relationship with it. Dopamine detox, then, is a method of resetting this relationship. It's about consciously reducing the overstimulation of dopamine-producing activities in our lives to improve focus and productivity. It's not about completely eliminating dopamine, but about recalibrating our response to it. However, keep in mind the common misconceptions. Dopamine detox is not a one-size-fits-all solution, and it's not a quick fix. It takes time, commitment, and consistency. With this knowledge, you're now equipped to make an informed decision about whether dopamine detox is right for you.